Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is the first ever intern panel that we're hosting at K-12. My name is Ray. I'm an intern at Data Science Connect, and I helped put together K-12 this year. And I'm really excited to introduce you guys to some of my friends. This is Sanjana, Akash, and Krish. And they're going to be speaking about their experiences at their internships this summer. I'm going to start off with a quick question. Can each of you guys tell us a little something about your background, including your major, where you go to school, and your internship title for any of those who may be unfamiliar, and what you do on a day-to-day basis in your internship? I'll start off with Sanjana.
Hi everyone, my name is Sanjana and I'm from New Delhi, India. I go to Indiana University and my majors are information systems and informatics. And I am an intern this summer at Salesforce. I'm an IT product management intern. And for those of you who are less familiar with product management, my basic tasks are to kind of make roadmaps for our teams and the products that we work on, talk to different business partners and Scrum teams like the software engineers, and plan out what our whole process is going to look like. I talk to different people about how much time they need for a certain task and tell other people about our team and what we do. So it's just a lot of communication and learning about what people do and a lot of planning. Yeah.
Awesome. And Akash?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, I go to UCLA. I'm a rising junior. I came in as a freshman studying econ and cognitive science, but I switched to data science like recently over the past year. I currently work at X right now. I am doing strategy and data analytics. So uh, my work kind of revolves around using insights. I work on the X API platform, so using like all those insights and the data from there, and then targeting that towards clients. So I would say I'm like right now I'm very like client focused. So I get on calls with clients, I'm speaking to them, and then handling like uh business with them based on like the analytics that we get, and then kind of giving them sessions on how to like promote or market their business. So that's kind of what I do right now.
Nice. And you mentioned that you switched into data science. What made you want to switch into data science in the first place?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to come into college doing business and that kind of like realm, but I noticed that doing data science would be more like interactive for me almost because I could use all of this information that we're getting on a day-to-day basis. And I noticed that it's such a growing market that if I can tap into that, then going to strategy later on in the future would be more like beneficial. So yeah, honestly, just like I had an inkling for it. I feel like econ and like stat and data science have like some like similarities. So I was like, why not tap into that and then like learn more. So started from there.
For sure. 100%. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. And Krish, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sorry about that earlier. The lights turned off in the room for some reason. But yeah, hi again. My name is Krish, and I'm studying math and computer science at Carnegie Mellon. Right now, I'm working as a software engineering intern at Amazon, and my work doesn't really directly involve me using AI and machine learning, but I'm more of kind of building the systems that help other people, like data scientists, do their magic. So basically, my team is in charge of a gigantic data storage of about 50 terabytes, which is a lot of information. So our job is to create the behind-the-scenes stuff, like cloud systems and servers, that lets two very important things happen. Right. So firstly, it lets people in the field that are collecting data write to our system on a massive scale. And then it also allows data scientists and other people working with AI to take this data and use it in their products. So think of it as like running a massive warehouse where different people kind of send all their stuff to the warehouse, and then we manage the distribution of the products from the warehouse to where it needs to go. That's kind of what I do day to day at my internship.
Absolutely. I'm imagine just how it is to have all those things that you're sorting through all the time, especially at Amazon. I know I order like a billion things on Amazon every day. So, um, kudos to you. Kudos to everybody on your team because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do that. And I know a lot of us, especially me, because I'm a marketing major, I'm a marketing intern here. I don't really have a lot of AI resources at school, or data science resources are a little limited just because everything's always changing in the field and everything's always new. How have you guys been able to learn AI skills outside of schoolwork? Because that's the real thing, like how are you able to actually get the skills that you need for your internship? We'll start off with Sunshine.
Okay. So for me, outside of schoolwork, so first actually talking about inside schoolwork, I did get a lot of knowledge about AI since it is a still growing topic. It wasn't too in depth. I did learn about a lot of the technical aspects, the social and ethical aspects of AI, but the actual in-depth knowledge was what I got during my internship. But for people who are trying to kind of take a step before their internship and learn about I would definitely recommend Trailhead. It is a learning platform by Salesforce, and I'm shamelessly plugging Salesforce products, but definitely look at Trailhead, and they have a lot of learning modules and training um, like paths that you can cover and learn about AI and just any topic that's very recent. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's a free resource, right? I think so. Okay. Akash, what about you?
Yeah, so I would first say, schoolwork wise, I feel like there's a lot of like useful classes at any school for like, data science, machine learning, that kind of lens. So definitely started out with that. And then I feel like math is such a solid background for everything you need to do within computer science. So if it's like linear algebra, pattern recognition, machine learning, I feel like that's all covered through like mathematical concepts. So I feel like if you want to like start your data science like AI journey, I think that's where it starts, like with understanding the math fundamentals to it. I think down the road, check out something like Kaggle, Leak Code. I feel like that's like the best spot to go just for like understanding machine learning, understanding the AI. So um, yeah, I feel like everything, honestly, I would even recommend going on using ChatGPT, asking it to teach you AI. I feel like that's like such a solid resource that like it'll list out everything you need to know, it'll list out everything you need to do with that. So I would say use it as a resource instead of using it as like a, I don't even know how to word it, but I feel like, use like the platforms they already have like on Google and use like GPT, Gemini, just to learn everything you can about that.
That is such a good piece of advice, especially when it comes to using ChatGPT for something that's not schoolwork. We all know that people are using it for assignments, but are you using it to actually learn the material? That's a different thing. You mentioned Leet Code. What is it? Because I know I've talked to Krish and he's mentioned it, and I have no idea what that is. Could you tell the audience a little something about what that is?
Yeah, I can elaborate a little bit more into it. I'm sure Chris will probably be better at it because he's like working in software engineering right now. But I would say like my experience is that like it's pretty much like a huge like source of like problems they kind of list out. Like every kind of coding language you have there, you have every kind of like project. They have like levels to it, like intermediate, basic, advanced. Then like from there, I feel like that's the best like place to practice. And everyone will say this, that's like going into SWE or data engineering, that like it's the best spot to practice all you need to know for like any coding assessment. So it starts there, and then you can practice as much as you want to. I've been getting into it recently for like, recruiting for next year. So I guess it's just like it's such a good like practice resource. And then I think there's like a premium version too. You can pay, maybe like get that as well. But I think honestly the free version like you can do more than enough with. And then like once you're like really solid on that stuff, you can probably get a good solid coding assessment figured out and done.
Nice. All right. Krish, do you have anything else to share about LeetCode? And also, what AI skills do you use in your internship?
Yeah, plus one to everything Akash said. I think LeetCode is a great resource to just get yourself better at how to get these jobs, and also just become a better problem solver. So yeah, definitely check that out. Actually, another resource that I think would be really useful is, especially like if you want to learn more of the theory and how these AI algorithms actually work. A lot of colleges put their flagship AI course online where you can go and access the resources. I know CMU does it. Our Intro to Deep Learning course is online. All the resources are there, homeworks are there, lectures, recordings, everything is on the website. It's 11.74785, I believe, Intro to Deep Learning, if you want to check that out. but I'm sure other colleges do this as well. So that's a great way to kind of start because it's absolutely free. You can go in, watch all the lectures, do the homeworks that CMU students would be doing to learn about this content while you're doing that by yourself. So I think, yeah, that's another great resource that you can kind of access and learn more of the theory behind it, because a lot of it is understanding how theoretically all these algorithms work. Because once you have a firm grasp of that, you can use it. You can apply it to real world any way you want.
Awesome. And just in terms of CS, I'm just curious, particularly with Krish, in terms of the CS and AI overlap. I know you're doing an AI project. Do you feel like your CS curriculum at CMU has helped you, or do you feel like it's one of those things where yes, you can major in CS, but you still have to do work outside of the major?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to your preference. What I found is my CS degree it doesn't really given me direct skills that I can use with AI, but what I did develop with my CS and math degree is problem solving skills. And I think that is what is really important. If you want to go into AI and do more research on that side, you need to have a really solid problem solving skills. So, yeah, like there's no, I can't say there's a direct translation saying, hey, if you do this thing in CS, you're gonna be doing this thing in AI. It's hard to find that mapping, but some of the other skills that you develop, like problem solving and thinking about how to approach a really complex task and break that down to simpler things, like general skills like that, has definitely helped me translate over and apply to AI.
Awesome. And we have like a really diverse list of schools here. We've got IU Kelly, we've got UCLA, and we have Carnegie Mellon. What resources have you used at school, if any, in order to prepare you a little bit better for AI or technology skills that you're using in your internship? And do you feel like your school has been able to kind of support you in terms of creating a sense of self-learning? We'll start off with Sunshine.
So personally, for my role, it's a little less technical as compared to Akash and Krish. And how IU has helped me is honestly, as a product manager, you need a lot of communication, time management, and decision making that has been incorporated in me by so many classes that I've taken. The core Kelly classes, like communication classes, writing classes, presentation classes, and some clubs that I've been on exec for. I think that's really helped me learn about how to talk to people and how to lead a team, how to manage different people with different requirements, doing research. So I think IU has been great at doing that. And personally, if you are looking into colleges, definitely don't just stick to going to classes. Join clubs and hold leadership positions, because that's really going to help you in your internships.
Awesome. And Akash?
Yeah, so I would say like UCLA definitely has like a newer kind of data science program. I know it's like ranked like relatively well, but I would say a general component like it all started from our stat major, so I feel like stat really builds up the data science, and then math builds up the computer science. So I feel like that's like the two like pathways you could kind of see it as. But um, I think we just had solid like areas in both, and then from there, you kind of just use like the fundamentals from there and move on to like whatever language, whatever like programming thing you want to get into. But honestly, I think a lot of schools can give you the same kind of knowledge. I feel like it kind of starts with you if you want to like learn like this kind of things, because like uh kind of like what Chris said, everything's like available online. You can find like these like AI courses like readily available. So it's more so about like, are you willing to put in the time for it instead of like your school's just gonna like hand it out to you, which I'm sure some do, but I think that's like a good starting point from there. Um, Actually, from those two, I actually have a cousin at IU who's working a data science job right now, and a cousin who recently got a full time offer from Meta doing like AI. So, and he goes to CMU. So it's kind of like any school kind of like push you towards the same kind of route. It's just about are you willing to put in the work for it?
Yeah. All right, Krish.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that's been said. it all kind of comes down to what you want to make of it. There's I think that different schools have different resources, right? There are some schools where a lot of it is kind of given to you, or others where you have to kind of do clubs and show leaderships, and that's how you can engage. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that I think while you're in college you should kind of focus on is learning these stuff, right? College is a time where you have 4 years, and your only job is to get like knowledge as you can and develop as many skills as you can. So as long as you're in a path where you're just trying to maximize your learning, whether that be like learning a new programming language or learning new concepts, new math, new whatever, like technical, non-technical, new skills like communication, leadership skills, any of that, right? As long as you're doing any of that, I think you're on a good path to, yeah, end up in this role. And that I think is the main thing. Being able to learn and pick up things really quickly, even after we finish college. Don't think that your job of learning is done, right? I've learned that on my internship, right? I've learned so much in the past month and a half that I probably wouldn't have expected to learn in school. So you're always going to keep learning, and as long as you're doing that, I think that's all that matters.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like, I never formally learned how to put on a conference like this, how to do networking, how to do LinkedIn. I never learned any of these things. It's just one of those things that you learn on the job. And that's just how internships are. They just kind of throw you in and you just have to learn. You don't really have a choice. And I'm sure every one of these panelists are just like, oh my God, there is a moment where I've been like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and we've all Googled how to do something while we're actively working on a project. So don't be nervous that you're not going to know how to do something, because that's a part of interning. There is a question in our comment section. Please give advice to a fresh graduate of a data science boot camp program. Um, if there aren't any internship replacement programs after graduation, what suggestions would you give to them? Websites, resources to utilize and secure a good data science internship role. I will go ahead and hand that off to either Akash or Krish. I know Sanjana is definitely more on the management side, so I'm gonna hand that off to one of you guys.
Yeah, sure. I can go. Or do you want to go first? All right, cool. Pretty much, I would say it's weird. Is it good now? I think it's good. Okay, cool. Um, for if you're trying to get into data science, I think like if you did the boot camp, I'm sure you have like a more understanding for whatever you need for the job. I think honestly, like I said before, like lead code, practice everything you know, and then 99% of the time, I feel like everything you cover on lead code will be like used at a coding assessment. So I feel you can learn everything from there. But generally, I wouldn't worry too much. I feel like it's such a growing field, and even though the job market definitely is competitive right now, I think if you know enough about data science, and like Chris said, you're always like learning. So whether it's like learning a new feature, learning a new software, like understanding how to use a specific kind of project, whatever. If you just like, focus in on that, kind of mention everything on your resume, be very like clear, succinct on your resume. I think you will have a good shot of like getting a offer on that sense. Just like honestly, apply everywhere. I didn't see X's like internships like on LinkedIn or anywhere else, kind of just like searched up the company and found something. So I definitely think that just constantly be looking, and then you'll definitely find something.
Yeah, I kind of want to add on huge emphasis on apply everywhere. It's now it's gotten to a point where it's more of a numbers game. So at this point, you just have to apply to literally every single position that opens and hope that something sticks. Which it sucks that that's the way it is, but that's how it is. And another thing that I've recently kind of gotten advice about is uh, traditionally like data science and AI. These kind of roles have been more in tech industry, but a lot of the other industries also need to do this work, especially data analytics and data science. So maybe if tech isn't really working out, you can start looking at other industries like healthcare or like manufacturing or some of these other non-tech industries that also need to do very similar work. I know that's a good kind of alternative approach to where you can look for roles as well.
absolutely echo that. And I think every single one of us have applied to an insane amount of job applications, LinkedIn postings, Workday postings. They're all awful. And we've been through hell to get our internships, and you will too. I guarantee it's not going to get any easier from here. But um, every single person on this panel like made something. We were able to do something uh, with our resume, with our skills, with our activities that we've done, and we guarantee that you'll be in the same position, so don't worry too much about it. um, and then another person asks, question for data science and LLMs and AI begin? I'm going to hand that off to Sanjana.
So personally, I have always been really intrigued with technology. I came into IU with an econ consulting major, and I wanted to go into tech consulting. So it was always something related to tech and business. But after that, I realized that I wanted a more tech focus after I took the first introductory informatics class because we were coding something with Python and I was like, oh, this is really interesting and I really want to do this more. So I started looking into a more tech heavy like career space. And that's how I ended up in product management. And my current team, we're working with AI stuff. So I think it's the best combination of business with product management and being surrounded in tech in a company like Salesforce. So honestly, this is a very personal timeline, and not everyone will realize this as late or as early as college. So stick to your own timeline because everyone is at their own pace. So yes, try to realize it as soon as possible, but also it's okay if you don't. So
Okay, I think that for me, I was kind of just interested in predictive algorithms. I think that's kind of where it started for me. I noticed that there's a lot of platforms like TikTok there or X, Instagram, whatever, kind of about seeing what you're interested in and then having that show up first on your page. So I was kind of really interested in how like a software and like algorithm was able to do that. So I think it started from there. I was interested in like one particular thing, and then like I've kind of been like understanding the full like realm of concepts to get better at performing that. So I think that's honestly the biggest thing you can monetize right now. It's like like capturing a consumer's attention, whether it's like getting them for your brand, getting them like what I'm working on right now is with Jersey Mike's, with some other like fast food companies, getting their ads at the top of people who are actually interested in them. So I think it just starts there, where it's like you want to understand how the human mind thinks to make sure like um they're seeing the ads or they're seeing the posts that they're actually interested in. So I think it just started from there. I was kind of interested in this one like concept, and then I built up data science from that.
That's really interesting to me because I'm a marketing major, and obviously like advertising is my lifeblood, so it's really cool to see, especially with the TikTok specifically. I mean, how many songs, artists, brands are we all starting to hear of just because of an algorithm that has tailored it to our interests? It's truly fascinating and quite amazing. And even on a day-to-day basis with marketing, I experience the same amount of data science and AI and algorithmic knowledge. Chris?
Yeah, for me, I honestly wasn't uh, really familiar with this field at all until ChatGPT. I'm sure that's the same way for a lot of people. um, but after I was like, wait, this thing is actually ridiculous. Like you're telling me I can ask it anything and it can answer me whatever I ask it. So having that kind of was kind of the reasoning was what sparked my interest in AI. And then the next semester I took the deep learning class, and I really enjoyed that class. So I kind of just fell in love in the problems that we can solve with like this incredibly powerful tool, right? So yeah, that's kind of what sparked my interest in AI, is just seeing the amount of different problems you can solve with a single tool. And I think that's what differentiates AI from everything that we've built so far, is you can take a single algorithm and use that one algorithm or model to solve trillions of different applications and different problems, which is what is exciting to me.
That is so cool and such a cool way to put it. We do have a couple of high schoolers in here, as I talked about. Um, what do you think helped you stand out in your college applications? I know this is going to be a question. This was a question that we did get. Um, and I'm just going to let you throw in one thing. We don't have to talk about it too much, but just what's one thing that you think was able to really put you to the top and get you into these top schools?
I can start. I've been told this one line multiple times, and it's really just engraved in my mind. Your network is your net worth. So the more people you know, the more places, the more doors can open to you. So definitely connections and networking is so, so, so important when you're applying to jobs. Knowing the right person at the right time is a thing, and trust me, it works. So don't meet people, but don't go in with the intention of getting a job. Get to know them personally. And maybe someday, if they have a job opening somewhere, they might reach out. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, I would say like high school wise, I was part of a club called DECA. So I'm not sure if you guys heard of it. It's like a business kind of marketing club. So uh, I did that for all 4 years of high school, and my junior year, I placed within the top five in the world for like my manual, which is like a 20-page paper about Northwestern Mutual, and kind of like went into all the strategies and the brand and all that. So I think that kind of stood out for me. And then I feel like my essays were pretty strong, so I guess that stood out as well. But I would say honestly, just work on being authentic to yourself. Work on like your actual things you have to show off. Because think of how many students are just like you, and think about what makes you stand out. Because honestly, to colleges, there has to be like that one selling factor. I think mine were honestly my essays. I feel like that like really made me stand out. But everyone has a different thing. Everyone has a different passion or thing that they're good at. So I think focus on whatever you're interested in, and then to some extent, colleges should also be interested in that too. And then if there's like a even interest in that, you'll probably get into that school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, I was uh, more of a like I did a science fair for all 4 years of high school and even middle school, so I think that kind of helped me out, particularly because I was always really interested in look, going into science and solving problems, um, but yeah, like Akash said, I think it all comes down to what you're interested in. For me, that ended up being, trying to pick a project, work on a year-long project, and say, hey, I produced new science. This is valid new research that I could show off. And that was what was really exciting to me. And if you can find something else that is really exciting to you and you're able to use that to say, hey, this really cool hobby or this cool interest of mine can be used to help other people this way, or it can be used to impact other people's lives in a positive way. I think that's a really good kind of narrative to have when you're thinking about applying to colleges and presenting yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's all about how you can pitch yourself to colleges. So as long as you're thinking of different ways you can come up with those ideas and um, different ways that you can present yourself, then that should be uh, enough to get you wherever you want to go.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's definitely one of those things where college applications are so tricky, especially because they're getting more competitive. I mean, I think each of our schools have dropped in acceptance rates by since we started, and we're all well, going into our junior year. And it's a world of a difference, and I think every single year changes. I get a lot of people asking me like, how do I get into Kelly? And I'm like, I don't know. It was super different my year. As Sanjana knows, like it wasn't that hard to get into, and now it's super hard. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's constantly changing, and you just have to be passionate about what you do. On to the next question. How do you recruit in a world where cover letters and resumes can easily be chat GBT'd? I know we've all learned about it probably in class or from a friend, how easy it is to just push it into ChatGPT and have it spit out something that anybody can write. how do you stand out on your applications for an internship or a job posting? We can start off with
Okay. For me, I think it's really important to write bullet points on a resume that are personal to what only you have done and make sure they're quantifiable. Like how many, like if I worked for a nonprofit, how many hours I worked and what exactly I did, not just like what the nonprofit does. So tailor it to each application that you were applying to. Tailor it to the company and its values, tailor it to you and your values and what you did. So,
and a
Yeah, I agree with Sanjana. I feel like in the workplace, whatever, focus on like being with your team and being a team player. But I think on your resume and like interviews, focus on what you did specifically. This might be controversial. I think that for ChatGPT and using AI, I think that should be like a resource in a sense. Like obviously don't use it to like create your like cover letter resume, but like if you need an extra tip, if you want to get certain things edited on your like resume, being like, oh, how do I make this like less wordy and like more like concise? Like I think there's like simple stuff like that where it's like it could be a useful resource. I think that it's more so about adjusting to the trend and using it to your advantage rather than like relying on it or feeling like you're against it, you know, because truthfully you can't be against it right now. It's like a growing new market and you have to be, you know, more so okay with adapting to it. So I think just like um use it when needed and use it like smartly. I feel like that's like a like two key bullet points for me.
panelists, raise your hand if you've used ChatGPT in some capacity while writing a resume or a response on a prompt of some sort. Raise your hand. Exactly. It's completely normal to use ChatGPT for something that you're working on. Just if you actually want to get the job, using ChatGPT isn't going to help you because you're going to sound like every other applicant that uses it. You need to add in your own voice, your own interesting little tidbits, your own quirks, and make it your own because otherwise, what's the point of even applying? A robot could do it, you know? Krish.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point. ChatGPT has gotten really good at fooling people into thinking it's actually sentient, but it's not. All it's doing is just following some pattern that it found a long time ago. So if I ask it to give me a cover letter, and someone else ask it to give them a cover letter, and someone else also does the same thing, it follows the same pattern for all those people. So the end result will end up sounding the exact same way, and it's very hard to differentiate yourself if you do that. But I do think it's a great resource to use. And personally, what I do is I say, hey, I have this job. I copy the job posting into ChatGPT and say, there's a job I want to apply to. Give me some bullet points on what you think I should put in the cover letter. And then it'll generate some bullet points. I'll go in and kind of filter out and pick and choose what I want to include. So I think that's a really great way to use this because you're using it to brainstorm ideas and trying to come up with different things that you can talk about. But at the end of the day, it's you that's writing the content. You are the one that's deciding what to put in. You're the one that's saying, oh, ooh, I like that idea. Like, I want to expand more on it. Or, I don't really like that. I'm probably not going to include it. So I think that is a really good way that I've been using it. And I think it's good enough to kind of set yourself apart if you use it that way.
Awesome. Looks like we're running a little bit out of time, but if anybody else wants to drop any questions, could you guys drop your LinkedIns and chat and they can go ahead and reach out to you guys? Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining our session. We have about 2 minutes left. So I think I'll throw in one more question and we'll make it a rapid fire question just so that we don't have extra time to spill into. Is there anything younger that you wish you could do to prepare yourself for a career in navigating data science, AI, and this entire crazy technological world we're living in? Give us one sentence.
I just wish I started my career exploration journey a little earlier than freshman year of college. High school, middle school would have been a great place to start, just like exploring what it is out there that I am interested in.
Yeah, I would say being here is honestly like a really good starting point. My one sentence would be focus on learning math and stat. I think that's like anything you need for AI, like with data science coding. You can learn that all in college, maybe even later, but like the fundamentals of problem solving is like from like the two subjects right there. So learn that right now and that'll help you out the most.
Absolutely. I mean, I took AP Stats and AP Comp Sci and AP Calc. So
Yeah, I think the same as well. It's I personally don't think you need to pigeon yourself into this career that early as like high school or middle school, but it's definitely good to start exploring and uh, develop the fundamental skill you need in any sort of tech role, right? Math and problem solving, that's something you're gonna need no matter where you end up. So I think focusing on that is um, what you should be doing now.
awesome. And we should be running up close to our time. So thank you guys so much. Everybody who's in the session, you can go ahead and hop into the next session. It'll be starting soon. But in the event that it doesn't, it'll be there and you'll have a short 5 minute, 10-minute break until then. All right. I'll see you guys. Bye.